The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
Justin Fields wants to play in the preseason. Will Aaron Glenn make it happen? We'll talk about that and much more. The Buffalo Jet fan will join us. It's the Jake Asman Show. Live on a Wednesday. Let's hit it and get it started.
Man, AG's first training camp with the New York Jets is underway.
We bleed Jets green each and every day. Will the playoff drought finally end? Kings of the offseason, baby. This is what we do. At least we have Garrett Wilson. We have Brees Hall. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chat, baby. Cut the line. We have Sauce Gardner. We have Quinn Williams. Prepare to be underdogs. Now it's time to talk all things New York Jets. It's the Jake Asman Show.
Here we go. Here on a Wednesday, Jake Asman with you. We are presented by FanDuel. Make sure when you bet on sports, you do it with FanDuel. Jets, Packers, preseason. And oh yeah, you could bet on that Saturday night. Before we bring on the Buffalo Jet fan, reminder that if you ever miss a live YouTube show and you want to listen to it on the go, we are available in both Apple and Spotify in audio form. So just search the Jake Asman Show and listen back to anything you might have missed. We post the entire YouTube show every day as a podcast, and all you need to do is just type in Jake Asman, and the show will come right up. Let's say hello right now to one of the great Jet content creators out there. The great Buffalo Jet fan joins us now. BJF, it's been a little bit. Your good pal Dylan Terraman has become one of the most popular guests and Asmaniacs in the community. So I give you a lot of credit because I first basically became aware of Dylan through you. So appreciate that and welcome back to the show.
Yeah, man. Glad to be back. Dylan's awesome. He's a lot smarter than me, but I'm much more handsome. So it's a give and take,
Oh man, we got a lot to talk about. Let's start with just the I don't want to call it panic, but we know how Jet fans are. The reaction from some in the fan base to Justin Fields statistically, and from those there saying that he's not throwing the ball great. The offense doesn't look great from a passing standpoint. Where are you at with this passing attack? If you're going to basically give us a number from 1 to 10 on the panic scale, what number would you give us?
I mean, definitely, I would say probably like a 3 or 4 in terms of panic. I think it was something that was crazy, like something like 30% of his passes through 3 practices. Obviously, he's completed over 60% of his passes in the regular season, so that it won't be that bad. That's an anomaly. But I think that when you look at training camp, it depends on what it is. Like if we're reading a report that Garrett Wilson can't get open for 4 straight days, he's getting clamped by, UDFA, Willie McSmithers. You're like, I don't care because I know Garrett Wilson can get open. If it's, Will McDonald can't get by Max Mitchell, he doesn't have his pass rush. You're not as worried about that. Alan Lazard's catching all these passes. You're not convinced yet. But one of these things heading into the season that you're like concerned about with this team is the passing offense, right? And I think that a unit that was without Mason Taylor, that has Justin Fields, whose biggest strength is his running. So you got Garrett Wilson, Tyler Johnson, Lazard, Ruckert, and Stone Smart going up against Sherwood, Quincy, Sauce, Michael Carter, Andre Sisco. Yeah, I mean, I think the Jets' back 7 of their defense is just more talented than their passing offense right now. So I think the passing offense is going to be a part of this team that they're going to have to win at times in spite of. But I think we all kind of figured that when this roster was constructed a couple months ago, not necessarily because of the camp. So I'm not panicking, but I also don't want to cope and say like, oh, once the regular season starts, Justin Fields is going to turn into Lamar Jackson and we're going to have a high flying offense. There's going to be some ugly parts of this passing offense. I think that's just kind of what it is. But looking at the Jets last year, they only ran for 1,500 yards, which was dead last in the NFL. So the way I'm seeing it, they should be able to rush for almost 1,000 more yards, which would put them near the top 5 or so from last year. So if you're getting 3,000 passing yards instead of 3,700, make that up with 1,000 yards on the ground, be good in the red zone, can you get to the teens in points per game? Can you get to 18, 19 points per game because of that rushing ability? And then play some balanced football and be scrappy and competitive? Yes. But I think the passing offense is going to be a limitation of this team. It kind of is what it is.
Aaron Glenn, speaking yesterday after practice, was asked about the concern level of the passing offense.
It's been a few days of passing offense.
Yeah.
Struggled a little bit. Do you have any level of concern there right now?
I don't, because it's early right now. And again, like I just said, man, I'm looking at week 1, right? We have a long time until we get to that point. And the type of men that we have, I know our men's going to pick it up and get it going. So I'm not worried at all. I mean, the thing that I'm more concerned about are the things that we have to do to make ourselves ready for week 1. The things that we're trying to create in training camp, those are the things that I think about on a daily basis.
So Glenn is obviously going to say that as the head coach, even if he was concerned. It's not like he'd admit it to the New York media and create a headline. But as far as the growth of the passing offense, let's see what happens on Saturday. We'll get into the conversation about if any of the starters are going to play coming up here. But I think next week's a big week, too, because you have 2 joint practices against the Giants, which is, of course, a defense that is not the defense that you've been seeing in camp every day. So if Fields is awful against the Giants defense, and I know the Giants have some really good players, especially up front, but if he's awful against the Giants next week, BJF, then I think it's fair to be a little more concerned than anyone should be on August 6th right now.
Yeah, a little more. And I think there's just there's a limit on how much you can let camp and preseason make you feel about the team for better or worse. Because to be honest, if the next 3 practices Fields kills it and he's 80% completions and a bunch of touchdowns, yeah, you'll feel better, but you have to wait until the regular season to see. Trying not to get too high, trying not to get too low. We've seen guys have great camps. We've seen those great training camp statistics floated out. I remember we beat the Panthers in the preseason like 34-0, and then we ended up being one of the worst teams in the NFL. So you can't get too high, can't get too low, but joint practice is a good opportunity. I definitely think that this team should play a lot more in the preseason than Robert Saleh's teams. And if I had to guess, that's the way it's probably going to go.
Comments, questions, super chats, they cut the line around here. We'll get to those coming up. I also want to share an awesome giveaway opportunity at the end of the show, a little daily raffle special, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be raffling away a signed Jermaine Johnson jersey at the end of the stream. So if you want in on that, do what Black Gypsy, Marvelous, and J-Boy have already done. They gifted channel memberships to enter the Asmaniac raffle. If you don't win the signed Jermaine Johnson jersey at the end of the stream, well, on Monday, you have a chance to still win any of our weekly prizes, a signed Aaron Glenn jersey, a signed Sauce Gardner jersey, and oh yeah, how about another signed Jermaine Johnson jersey? BJF, more from Aaron Glenn. This was AG being asked specifically about what he saw from Fields at practice.
Aaron touched on the offense, but what specifically did you see out of Justin
Yeah.
today in the snaps?
Well, there's a number of things. Again, as far as the way his command was of the offense and know exactly what to do was outstanding. Some of his throws wasn't on point, all right? But, again, a lot of them were on point, and guys got to make plays for him too. So that kind of showed up today, and we got to get ready to fix those things. So it goes hand in hand with quarterback and receivers. He has to deliver the ball, and they have to catch it.
Mason Taylor didn't practice. He's going to be out a week or maybe longer with the high ankle sprain. And one of the references Glenn, I believe, is alluding to there is Jeremy Ruckert was targeted on a play. He didn't catch it clean, so the pass was batted in the air, and it ended up being an interception. So ultimately, yes, Fields needs to be better. We understand that, and the Jets are banking on him at least being maybe a league average passer combined with his rushing ability. But I've been concerned from the beginning about just the lack of weapons beyond Garrett Wilson in the receiver room. And even if they want to use Breece Hall a lot as a receiver, he's still a running back, BJF. So your thoughts just on the weapons that Fields is working with this offense?
Well, it's there's 2 sides of that coin, right? Because it's like, man, Mason Taylor goes down, and it's like, wow, the offense really struggles. The tight end depth isn't good. But at the same time, it's like, hey, man, Mason Taylor might already be pretty damn good if he makes that big of a difference. So that's a really good sign for Taylor. You know, drafting weapons outside of the first round and developing them has been a struggle for this team for a long time. So if Mason Taylor can come out and be like a league average tight end, this is a security blanket for Fields. That'd be awesome. Yeah, I think the top line weapons, like if it's in targets, if you go maybe Garrett Wilson, Breece, Mason Taylor, Josh Reynolds, it's not the end of the world. But I think the tops of rooms, obviously, if Garrett Wilson or Mason Taylor have to miss any time, I think you're in pretty dire straits immediately. With the one caveat being, I mean, going into the summer, I said one of Corley or Arian Smith, but now it just seems like maybe Arian Smith, because Corley is getting practice reps with like when Jake Asman is at quarterback or whatever. So it's not looking too good for Corley. Yeah, I definitely think that could be a concern. At the same time, I don't like, was Keenan Allen going to want to sign here? You know, is Amari Cooper going to want to? I don't know how much of a destination that this current Jets team is for older receivers who want to kind of have their last act, you know. So there's not one move on pounding the table they should have done, besides maybe like another tight end like Noah Fant, somebody like that. I think another veteran in that room, or even bringing back Conklin. I know he's mid, but it was like $3 million, whatever. So yeah, they might they're crossing their fingers for health in the weapons department, that's for sure.
I feel like even a guy like Gabe Davis, who's still out there, wouldn't be the worst move. I'm not saying he's great, but I think he might be their second best receiver right away. He's at least had moments in the NFL where he's looked like a real player.
Yeah, and he can stretch the field vertically. I mean, you got to get an update on his medicals because the timing of his release was weird. But I think if you're, that's why I'm hoping Smith can crack the lineup, because Garrett's obviously awesome. But if you're 2, 3, and 4 in any order are Reynolds, Lazard, and Johnson, that's going to be one of the slowest receiver cores, you know, in the NFL. So Arian Smith, cracking that, being a wide receiver 3, or even a sub package wide receiver 4 that gets some burn, that will go a long way towards this group get some playmaking.
We're talking with the Buffalo Jet fan. Make sure you guys subscribe to his channel. He's always posting streams and videos breaking down the Jets. The reason why, for those new this week to the show, why we're starting in the 9 a.m. hour as opposed to the 10 a.m. Eastern hour like we normally do during the week, is because I have more radio today. I am on ESPN New York from 1 to 3. Because the Mets air on our station 8:80 a.m., the Michael K show that I'm hosting today will air on 10:50 a.m. But the easiest way to listen is the ESPN New York app. So download that, and you'll be able to hear me talk Jets, Yankees, and everything going on in New York sports in its entirety from 1 to 3 today on the ESPN New York app, or 10:50 a.m. if you're in the tri-state area. Justin Fields, BJF, he spoke yesterday, and he was asked whether or not he wants to play in the preseason, and he made it clear the answer to that is emphatically yes.
I think we at least need to see the field each and every game. I think that'll be good for, our team. It'll be good for Tanner. In the in-game stuff, it'll be good for me. The guys on offense, I don't think, I know some guys, they sit out the whole preseason, but I don't think that's the case with us, just because of, the new team, new offense and stuff like that. So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of how I feel about the situation. So.
Your thoughts on that, BJF? Do you want the Jets to play their starters throughout the preseason?
Yeah, I'd love to hear that answer. And I think that if they want to sit guys that last preseason game where you're just trying to make sure everyone's healthy, you're a couple of weeks away from the opener, fine. But I would agree the first 2 games, or at least in 2 of the 3 games, I think everybody who doesn't have an injury designation should suit up and play. This was a stark contrast, and you're seeing it even with the camp, like the previous regime. And I know they had older players, but it was like, Tyron Smith is on the bike, and like Morgan Moses is doing hot yoga, and Breece Hall isn't practicing. He's not hurt, but he doesn't really need to practice. It's fine. And then you go to the preseason games, and guys like Tony Adams are in street clothes like a made man. And it's like, what's going on here? So, and the Jets, and then all of a sudden the Jets go to play the San Francisco 49ers last year, and they were like shocked when the 49ers were hitting them and tackling them. They're like, what is going on? Why are they hitting us? This is not cool. Because they practiced like a 2-hand touch football team. And it seems like Aaron Glenn is a more physical camp, and you got to get these, like, there's that balance between being healthy and being ready. But I think the previous regime leaned way too much towards trying to stay healthy. And the irony is it doesn't even work, because when you're not ready to get hit, you guys end up getting hurt anyway. So all these guys should play. They should play. I 100% agree with Justin Fields, and I'm happy that he said that.
Well, he said he believes they should see the field in all 3 of the preseason games, which I found to be interesting. I rather a guy want to play, of course, than someone who doesn't want to play. I just wonder what Glenn's approach is going to be, because we don't know. He has yet to say. He said he'd have an answer for the media later this week, and the Jets don't have practice today. It's a player day off. So the next time we will hear from Glenn will either be tomorrow, most likely, or certainly on Friday. I think it's going to be tomorrow, just looking ahead at the Jets media schedule they sent out. But, to me, I would play as many people as possible within reason. Obviously, if someone's banged up, you're not going to risk it in a preseason game. But if you're putting Fields out there, BGF, you can't do the Rex Ryan thing where he throws Mark Sanchez back in the preseason game against the Giants with third-string offensive linemen, fourth-string offensive linemen, and we know what happens. If you're going to put Fields out there, he needs to be out there with the starting O-line, and he needs to be out there with his weapons.
Yeah, I would agree. I don't think, and I'm not talking playing it. I don't think any starts should be in the second half, and because I believe that was the second half of that game in that Snoopy Bowl.
I think it was the fourth quarter.
Oh my gosh, this is so bad. Yeah, so no, nothing that crazy, but and some teams they play their guys. The Bills always play their guys, and it works for them. Sean McVay doesn't play anybody, and it works for him. So there's not one perfect way to do it. Obviously, someone like Quinnen with a calf, I don't need to see Quinnen until the regular season. John Simpson's got it back. Veteran offensive line, I don't need to see him. But guys like to me, like Lazard and Tyler Johnson should be playing. Like Tony Adams, these guys should be playing. Armand Membu, obviously rookie, he needs to get some reps. So I like the answer from Fields. Everything from Fields from a leadership and personality standpoint, I think has been a really, really good fit with Glenn, just trying to kind of stay under the radar this year. So I'd like to hear that from him. Hopefully they play in at least 2 of these games.
Hit the like button if you're just tuning in. Should the Jets play their starters a lot in the preseason? That is the question. Fields wants the starters to be out there, and they need the reps. We're talking about the Jets and what this year is all about, finding out if Fields is the guy. If he wants to play and you want to put him in the best chance to get off to the best possible start, because that's huge for a new regime to get off to a good start. And last year, you're right, they were not ready to play, at least defensively especially, in that opening game against the Niners. So I'm with you, BJF. I'd put Fields out there. You're not going to call, a bunch of runs for him to go and take, potential hits, but I don't think the Jets have anything to lose. Like, you're not jeopardizing your long-term future if, God forbid, Fields suffers an injury. Like, this is basically a giant trial year for him at quarterback, and I'm not worried about him getting hurt. If he gets hurt, so be it. I need to get him ready to have the best possible chance to succeed early, because this team can't get off to a brutal start. Otherwise, all the goodwill that Glenn's trying to build up with the fan base, it's going to go away very quickly if they get boat raced week 1 and week 2 at home.
Yeah, no doubt. You got to have it's one of those things where the fan base is probably the patience is probably the lowest it's ever been to start a new regime, and I just think it's the cumulative toll of 15 straight years. So yeah, obviously if they're 2-5, it'll get pretty ugly. But so you want a strong start, and you just don't want to, like you said, don't get boat race. You want to be competitive. You want to be physical. Like, I think most people are understanding the Jets aren't winning the Super Bowl this year, and I think most of us will accept a scrappy, well-disciplined team that's competitive and puts a watchable product on the field, and you got to be prepared in order to do that.
Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line for those of you just tuning in. Signed Jermaine Johnson jersey we raffle away at the end of the stream. Kyle Clifton has a super chat. He's in the raffle for 5. He says, we signed Justin Fields to be the starter. The money, while manageable, is not insignificant. He'll need to get live reps against Strange D to get acclimated in new system. I say 2 series. Toe seems like a non-issue. For sure, Kyle. I'm with you. If they played Fields for 2 series, let's say on Saturday, and then in the second preseason game, let's say he played into the second quarter, which could be 3 or 4 drives total, that to me is fine. That's better than just doing nothing like what they did previously. It's a new regime. Seems a lot younger. As Fields talked about in the cut we played, everyone is basically brand new. I think it's a logical thing to expect this starters to go out there Saturday and potentially play 2 series.
Yeah, and I think there's something just mentally to, even if they only play 2 series, something mentally to preparing along the week, knowing that you're going to play and not just having it be something that's written off. I think that's important for them to get some work together. I think particularly on the offensive line, it seems like, how many years has it been they're just putting pieces together, moving guys around? This guy's hurt, we don't know. So you have an opportunity where at least 4 of your offensive linemen besides Simpson can go out there and play, and they're all guys. And Simpson, I think, is their oldest starter. So those guys are all like 22 to 25 years old. So let's get those guys some burn. If you want to pull, and with Fields, I would even say if you want to pull Garrett for a series, as long as he has his offensive line out there, he could play versus the other team's second stringers. He'll be fine.
The Packers, by the way, have not said who's going to be playing for them. Matt LaFleur is known to be very cryptic with that stuff. I checked in with someone that covers the Packers, and the response was, LaFleur always very cryptic about that stuff, but he said starters need to be prepared like they are playing, still lean towards most key starters probably not playing, though. So that is the latest from the Packers angle side of things for this game on Saturday. T-Town Jet has gifted a channel membership. He joins the Asmaniac raffle for one. Big picture, BJF, what have been your thoughts on training camp so far? What has stood out to you beyond just, of course, the last couple of days talking about, the passing offense not looking great? What have been your impressions about 2 weeks and change in the camp?
Well, I think it was pretty shocking to me early on when it seems like for about 5 days straight, all the reporters were asking how the camp was different from the previous coaches. And of course, players are always going to praise their new boss. But I was shocked at how many players kind of went out of their way to say, hey, yeah, the previous coaches were kind of sucked in one way or another. They didn't try to say, hey, disrespect to Salah or Hackett, but this is different. Like, no, they're ABT coming on saying, hey, this is accountability. I'd never really seen that before. Garrett Wilson saying he hadn't been coached this hard since college, which is pretty shocking. So obviously it's the easiest thing in the world to say, well, they haven't played any games, and if they're 2 and whatever, it's sure, the jokes will write themselves. We all understand that, but we're just evaluating the information we have. And so far it seems like Aaron Glenn is a bit more buttoned up, detail oriented. It's funny. There was did you catch that clip that they put out? It was like 7 minutes of him going around mic'd up with the whistle talking to everybody. The Jets put it out on their Twitter.
I did. Yeah, it was awesome.
It was awesome. And there was a clip I saw like a year ago, and it was of Parcells at one of the old school Jets training camps. And he was talking to one of his punt returners, and he was teaching him, like, when the ball wobbles this way, it's going to come over here. So he was like teaching the finer points of punt returning to one of his guys. And I remember saying, like, could you imagine Robert Saleh ever doing that? And in that clip, it wasn't as long, but in that clip, Aaron Glenn came over to Jamal Pritchard and literally had that same moment of like teaching him a specific thing that he probably like learned or saw from Parcells. And I'm like, man, the how little it takes me to be bought in. I'm like, all right, we're good, man. We got a Super Bowl winning head coach, but that's been good. And I think the more physical camp and being more prepared to play. Like, I know that's not a lot of information to go on in terms of how good the team is going to be, but I'll take it. I think those are two good steps in the right direction. Even in that clip too, he kept saying, like, you got to detail your shit out. Like, he kept saying details. Where I think the previous staff, it was just like more motivation. And Robert Saleh is talking about like a bird and a toad and how they fly in the sky, but the toad, like, you can whispers a haiku into the bird and they fall. It's like, instead of doing that, they're just practicing how to tackle, which I think is better.
I'm with you. And look, I think Glenn is still in that honeymoon stage. You said something interesting that I have hit on, that it does feel like he's not going to get, the longer benefit of the doubt that a new regime, new coach would typically get. The only coach that never got any benefit of the doubt was Gase. I think the other coaches, we all were like, let's be a little patient here. It's brand new, especially Saleh with the team that he took over. I think we were all hopeful at first. But I do think as you look ahead now, like, getting off to a decent start is imperative. I'm not saying they need to start 5-0. I don't see that. But, if you're going to play good teams, you're better off playing them early. Your first 2 weeks are at home. Can you find a way to go 1-1 against Aaron Rodgers and the Buffalo Bills, your first 2 games? Then you have 2 in Florida against Tampa and Miami. Can you get off to a 2-2 start? The Eagles were 2-2 last year before it clicked for them. Like, if you're going to be a great team, the great teams aren't usually great right away. Like, this might be an opportunity for the Jets, just like Rex went through in 2009 with that 3-0 start and that signature win against Belichick and Brady in week 2. I think that's something that we need to hopefully see from Glenn, because the players are bought in now. If they actually see a legitimate win early against against Pittsburgh and Rodgers, or a division opponent like the Bills, I think that goes a long way towards truly having that total buy-in from the players and everyone in the organization.
Yeah, and I think week 1, I mean, the Jets probably, if we're being honest, have as much on the line week 1 as any team in the NFL. Just because if Rodgers goes out there and then tunes him up for like five touchdowns, and it's going to be, it's going to be meltdowns, awful, horrible. Whereas if they have a chance to go out there and make a big statement win, because I think a big part of the short leash of the fan base is, look, I know it's been forever. Like, to talk about Aaron Rodgers has been here forever, but that's our first opponent, and the Jets did decide to go in a different direction. And I think that, personally, I think a lot his performance wasn't as good as the counting stats indicated, but he did throw for 20 whatever touchdowns for the first time since whatever. So I think that's part of it. And if he's playing well versus how Fields is playing, I think will be a referendum on the Jets' decisions, and I think that's fair. Now, if Rodgers goes out there and he plays like Russell Wilson last year and he gets dragged to the playoffs by a top 3 defense, okay, whatever. But if he's the reason they're winning and Fields is the reason they're struggling, or vice versa, like if the Jets get Fields to improve and then Rodgers looks like Matt Ryan on the Colts, and that to me, like, it's their first big decision. So however that goes, obviously is going to have a big impact on the feeling around the team. But hey, man, I mean, the Jets did beat Aaron Rodgers with solid. They split with the Bills a couple times with some scrappy defenses. So yeah, man, I think you definitely want to go 1-1 to start. That's a tough stretch. Steelers and Bills, 2 really good defenses.
Jay Perez, who on yesterday's second stream won a signed Wayne Corbett jersey, he's in it again. He just paid it forward. How about 5 gifted memberships from Jay? Speaking of Jay, J-Boy is back with another gifted membership. Thank you, J-Boy. David Atkins, who won a Joe Namath jersey during Monday's weekly raffle. Guess what? He's back in this one as well for 1. Thank you to David Atkins. BJF, I remember last year you called the Will McDonald breakout. You were bullish on Will McDonald. So who's your guy this year that you believe is going to break out for the 2025 New York Jets?
Oh, man. So I don't have one that it's quite a guy going from people writing him off as a bust to getting 10 sacks. Don't ask me what I thought about Elijah Moore. Those tapes have been burned. That we're still waiting on that breakout. There's a couple guys who I think will play a bigger role on the team than maybe some think, and it's nothing sexy. Like, I think Andrew Beck is going to be on the field a lot, and if maybe you're a fan that just tunes in once the season starts and you're watching the first game, you're like, who's Andrew Beck? Backup tight end / fullback / special teamer. I think he could be on the field, in the 15-20% of the reps. I think he's the best non-offensive lineman blocker, and I think that Arian Smith has a chance to do something for this team. I don't know if it's going to be week 1, but they clearly drafted him with a specific skill set in mind, and he brings an element of speed to this offense. And if you look at all the receivers who ran, I know people were freaking out about that pick. He had a big drop problem. He's a little smaller than you'd like. But all the receivers who ran sub 4.4, they were all drafted way ahead of when all of the sites and all of our mock draft said. So it's something clearly the NFL valued that element of speed. Aaron Glenn mentioned Jamison Williams. We're not expecting him to be Jamison Williams, but you start to put the pieces together of can we be the Walmart Detroit Lions with the good offensive line? Okay, Sam Laporta, Mason Taylor, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Garrett Wilson, Josh Reynolds. Lightning and Thunder running back tandem, Montgomery and Gibbs, Hall and Allen, Jamison Williams, Arian Smith. Now, I know all our guys aren't as good as those guys, but you can kind of see there's a specific role that only he brings to that team. So I'm hoping he can get on the field because we could use it, man. We could use the speed.
Walmart Detroit Lions. I'll
take it. I mean it so sincerely. Like, they scored 33 points a game last year. If we could be 70% of that, man, I'll take it.
How many wins? If the Jets in your mind are the Walmart Detroit Lions, how many wins does that equate to in 2025?
8.
Okay, that's pretty good. I mean, yeah. I think we all would sign for 8 right now.
Yeah.
I'd take 8 in a nanosecond. All right, couple minutes left with BJF. First things first, Mike D's Nuts, who I got the honor and privilege of meeting in person for the first ever time this past Saturday. He is in the AsmanJake raffle for 5. D's Nuts. It's always great trying to explain to people why we all yell D's Nuts, and we're talking about an actual person and not just trolling people, as was the case at Jets training camp on Saturday. If the Jets are, let's say, like the TJ Maxx Detroit Lions, how many wins is that? Like, I feel like you got to do a segment now on your channel where you basically do, if the Jets are this version of the Lions, this store, this means they win this many games.
Yeah, man. I've been looking the last time that we were higher than 23rd in scoring was 2015. So it was the Josh McCown year. And then last year we were 23rd and 24th. And then beyond that, we've been like 28th or lower. So if we can get towards that 20th mark in scoring, which means you're over 20 points a game, I think that's kind of the threshold, because there's not a bunch of bums on this defense, man. Like, the reason that this defense was really good for a couple of years, a lot of these guys are still here. They have a recent all-pro on every level of the defense, plus a 10-sack edge, plus guys like Sherwood, Michael Carter, Cisco. These guys can play. Steve Wilkes has been around the block, Aaron Glenn, defense coordinator. So if there's there are some reasons this team shouldn't be terrible. Offensive line, I think, is very talented. Defense is talented. The running game should be good. It's just, can they get enough out of the passing game, red zone, third down, Fields, get the ball out a little bit quicker. And the wild card, obviously, is Tanner Engstrand.
If Engstrand is really good, it completely changes so much because we just don't know what a great or even a really good offensive coordinator looks like.
Yeah, and that's why I think with this year, with Fields, it is a little bit of a house money. But if they can make him look better than he did in Chicago and Pittsburgh, I'm not asking for miracles. We're not asking him to be MVP. But if he can look better and they're building an offense that accentuates his strengths and mitigates his weaknesses, and even if it's like, okay, you know what, he's still not the guy, well, then you feel a lot better about them drafting a quarterback heading into the next season. And Fields is under contract 2 years, so they could roll out Fields to start next year and have that rookie play on their timeline. And then now when that guy comes in, it's not all rookie coaches, and you have an offensive line. And you have Mason Taylor, Garrett Wilson, and maybe you add another wide receiver too. So if Tanner Engstrand can coach and the Jets are looking at a quarterback next year, that quarterback will have a better chance to succeed than Sam Darnold and Zach Wilson.
BJF, before you go, I want you to know that I believe that you inspired one of the most prominent callers in the history of our program to do what you do. Ladies and gentlemen, the mic that BJF uses is the same mic that Beastbreaker uses inside the global studio headquarters. BJF, what does it mean to you to be the guy that inspired the microphone selection by Beastbreaker?
I'm going to go update my resume and put it on there. I'm just going to have a separate hole. It'll be in my cover letter.
You're a real influencer. You know that.
Hey, this is why they pay us the big money, Jake.
That's well said. BJF, you are the man. Always good to get you on the show, my friend. Appreciate your time this morning and continued success on your end.
Take care, guys. Go Jets.
Ladies and gentlemen, the great Buffalo Jet fan with us there. All right, before we get to some of your calls, reminder, we're 10 days away from the party of summer. That's what they're calling it. T-Squared Social is the place to be. Next Saturday, that's Saturday, August 16th, 6:30, the party starts. Buy your tickets. A bunch of you are just waiting and waiting. I'm telling you, the week of, it's not going to be $18. It's going to be a couple dollars more. So to save some money and lock in your spot, buy your ticket today. 1 Friday beer, 1 gangrene tee-shot, and a raffle ticket to win a bunch of prizes like this framed Brees Hall jersey. We got tickets to Jet games to give away. We also have a signed Corbett jersey, a signed Aaron Glenn jersey. It's going to be awesome. There's going to be the Jets and the Giants are going to be on the loudspeakers. We'll have the TVs on for that game all throughout the venue. For anyone who's ever been to one of my watch parties, this one might be the most fun because it's preseason. And we actually might have some real starters playing on both sides in that game to add some intrigue. So lock in your spot. The link to do it is in the description for this show you're watching live right now. Join me at T-Squared Social, right next to Grand Central Station, 10 days from right now for our first watch party of the Jets season. If you tuned in late, we are raffling away a signed Jermaine Johnson jersey at the end of the stream. So gift away or send in the requisite super chat for your chance to win. Let's get to some of your calls right now on the Gusbuster Umbrella Hotline. And first up today is the great Chef Kevin, who's in the house at the Cloverleaf Tavern. What's up, Chef Kevin? Now that I know exactly where you're calling from, it completely changes everything.
Yeah. What's up, man? Yeah, I'm in the good spot. I got my window view, man. You know, this is kind of where it's at, the quiet before the storm, man. This is where I feel a little comfortable. I'm here early in the morning, 6:30. I'm an early bird, man. You know, scour the kitchen, make sure the quality is there, the freshness, make sure the orders are good, making sure that the staff who's, schedule shows up. We don't have issues with call outs or people coming in drunk, hungover, whatever. So, just making sure everything's good. Once everything's good, then that's when I pop up over here and just kind of go through everything to make sure that we're set up not only for today, but for the whole week and whatnot. It's a busy operation, but yeah, this is the headquarters for me, man. I appreciate it. And it was a really great seeing you, man. I thought we did a great job for your meetup, man, hosting it. A lot of work went into it, but you saw the results, man. It was quite a time, man. Really excited and happy that everything went smoothly. Shout out to Nick Shine, man, for being able to get some footage. Jake as well. Gator for putting that video together, man. It was pretty electric. That turnaround time that Gator
Unreal.
does, man, is like it's second to none. That's why he's the GOAT, man. Just being able to put all that together. But your menu, Jake, man, that was a hit, man. The baked potato, the beef gabagool. We all saw Gorman, man, devour that chicken soup, man. It took us about a half hour to clean the mess on the floor
Good
from
God.
from from Gorman. But yo, it was all in great fun. If you don't mind, Jake, I just want to shout out a couple people that were here. It was a real pleasure of seeing Mike D's Nuts. I know he traveled down here. That was my first time meeting him. South Ass popped up. That was a cool surprise. And then Gorman, that was the first time I met him, but me and him been chatting behind the scenes, and it was really cool to see him. But man, that dude, you've mentioned his name a couple times, man. Green Gang, coming up from Baltimore, man, and then driving back down, like, that was pretty cool to see him. I saw he won a prize too the other day. Think it was like a sauce jersey. So shout out to him. And then the OGs, man, the John LG, Jets Forever, Tom Ace, man. We had the big fella Nate, Jake Quest, man. It was a star-studded event, man. So again, Jake, I appreciate you for choosing us to be able to do your meetup, man, after that scrimmage, which was nothing short of just a slot mess, man. Like the amount of flags and all that, we're past that, moving to better times. Hopefully things will get adjusted. The Justin Fields stuff, man, hopefully that gets cleaned up as well. Like, I don't think any of us had the expectations of his accuracy being like Rodgers. Last year we saw Rodgers just throwing 60, 70-yard bombs down the field. The accuracy was pretty good last year. And, with Fields now, he's just working against a pretty solid defense. Our defense, for the most part, except for the front line, has improved, I believe. I think we got some pretty good weapons, man. The schemes looks pretty good. I'm higher on AG than Fields. I really wish like I had that optimism that our guy Castro and JJ has for Fields, but I'm really not there yet. I know his legs will really help us out, especially on third downs, man. When we're spreading it out, they're rushing, and he steps into the pocket and sees some running lanes where he could scramble and get a couple yards, slide. We don't want him, taking some hits on the field, getting out of bounds. It's pretty important that he protects his body because we need him for the long haul. We really need to see a nice improvement on him. I think for the most part, things will get cleaned up, but this can't come to a surprise for us knowing about our wide receiver position, which is one of the reasons, why I wanted Rodgers to stay another year, for it to have Devontae Adams and all that. I understand the reason, to kind of cut bait and move in another direction, kind of clean house a little bit. Like, I get that, I understand. But at the same time, our weapons department is gratefully depleted, man, and it's not in a good way. So, hopefully the other cats step up, because at this point, I want to see Scary Terry, but I understand about the long-term commitment. We're not really there yet, tying up some money where we can utilize that for next year to kind of save our offensive line from walking. If Brees has a good year, kind of pay him as well and kind of retool. So I get all that. But right now, like, it shouldn't be a surprise to anybody that our wide receiver department isn't where it is. And then with our defensive tackle too, like, that's one of the things that a lot of us are screaming about during free agency and the draft. The fact that we didn't get defensive tackle addressed in the draft. I know Clifton was pretty vocal about that. Like, I'm with him. I've been with him with just us not being able to like stop the run. That was one of our biggest issues last year on defense, just allowing teams to just run up the gut on us. Like, it wasn't even any like halfback tosses, any really kind of screens. It was literally dive plays, man, like literally running up the gut on us, which just killed us. And we're sitting there like pulling the hair out of our heads, like, guys, like, why can't we stop the run? This is just so embarrassing to see, just mediocre teams just being able to like abuse us in that kind of way. So, hopefully they just kind of scheme some stuff up and get it going. That's where I'm trying to be like a little bit hopeful for the whole situation. But in all, man, just praying for better times. That T Squared event, I know it's going to be a banger. Jake, you always set up the good events, man. You always bring out the good people. It sucks how our practice last week, what it was, but at least we were able to rebound and have a.
It still was a great day, thankfully,
Yeah.
man. Thankfully, you know what I mean? Like, if that was the whole day, anyone who trekked out to go watch that, brutal. But the meetup made it the whole day worth it, which was awesome.
Yeah. So, and again, man, you and Tom Ace, man, I know I was able to help last year with the little chat and cut. My son and I, we got there a little bit late, and we saw that Edwards was there with Braylon, our wide receiver from the past, and it was like, damn, we got in line, but they told us that it was cut off. So we went and got some food, walked past, and I hear somebody say, "Yo, is that Chef Kev?" I look up and it's you, Jake. And it's Tom Mace. I'm like, oh, this is the perfect opportunity. Let me see if I can cut the line.
Oh yeah, that was a great chat and cut. Executed like I mean, they'll put that in the history books for like one of the great chat and cuts that's ever been performed.
To see Coles, man, and Braylon, and you were able to kind of plug your stuff, man. It was awesome, man. So I appreciate the day again, man. Thanks for everything that you do. The ESPN stuff that you're doing, man. Keep it going. We appreciate, keep supporting Jake, man, and everything that he's doing. Let's go, Jets.
Chef Kev, everyone. The great Chef Kevin, him and his team at Cloverleaf were just unbelievable to my listeners, everyone who made it out on Saturday. So thanks again to you, Kev, and everyone at Cloverleaf. Watch the recap video if you guys haven't seen it. We uploaded it at first as a members-only video. Then I made it public for everyone. And there's no ads on it, too, by the way. So you can just click it, and the whole thing will play for anyone who doesn't have YouTube Premium. So enjoy, because it was awesome. And basically became the Charles Gorman meetup featuring Jake Asman by the time we were done there. Bob Bianchi checks in. With Fields, he's going to need a little time, and then it's going to click all at once. You'll notice it. And if not, it is what it is, hoping for the best. That's the hope, Bob. See, for me, I'm just going into it expecting Fields to be a bridge quarterback. That's what he was paid to be. If he exceeds that, great. Like, I don't have lofty goals for Justin Fields. My hope is the coaching is excellent. Their plan to build an offense that is run first with the personnel they have is successful. The defense rebounds. Nick Folk is Nick Folk. And they can win games that way. They won 7 without a quarterback 2 years ago. They won 7 with Zach Wilson, Tim Boyle, and Trevor Siemian. If Fields is better than that, which I think he will be, and the other things we're talking about are improved, they could be in the mix. That's my hope. And you know what? If Fields is god-awful, they're going to draft the quarterback next year anyway. If they're picking in the top 10, they're taking a quarterback, I believe. So Fields has to play well enough for this team to be pick 15 onward for it to not be a lock. They're going quarterback. If they're in the top 10 in next year's draft, there's so many quarterbacks that are highly regarded compared to this year. So that's kind of how I look at it. I have low expectations. I don't have the Jets as a playoff team this year. I have them winning 6 games right now. That to me is the best way to go about it, because I've been burnt too many times. J-Lock says, could have had Garrett, Cooper, Lazard, Reynolds. Well, Cooper's still out there, so if they want to sign Amari Cooper, all right. I don't know if they're going to do it, though. I saw Gator had a point. Not sure why Gabe Davis would want to come to the Jets. It's not like the Jets are an attractive landing spot for the current best available wide receiver. He needs a job, though, Gator. That's why. Money talks. It's not like people are knocking down the Gabe Davis door right now. He might want to just play. And why would he want to come here? He'd be the second best receiver, arguably. So there'd be targets for him. He'd be able to reestablish himself if he has a good year. He's only 26. That's the key thing with the Jets, right? Unless your name is Nick Folk, they're not signing anyone older than 30. Last year, Gabe Davis, he got hurt. He only appeared in 10 games. He had 239 yards and 20 catches on 42 receptions. But the Jaguars were a dumpster fire last year. So, we got to take it easy. And you got to obviously evaluate that in the process here. For those of you who tuned in late, Jermaine Johnson signed jersey. We raffle that away at the end of the show. Right now, we only have 15 members. As long as we get to 30, I'll do the raffle. So we're about 15 short. If we get 30 members, I'm definitely going to do the raffle at the end of this show. If we don't get 30, I will do it at the end of the second stream when Robbie Sabo joins me at 4:30 Eastern later today. But I'd like to do it during this show for everyone that's tuned in. So Jermaine Johnson, raffle, pending we get 15 more channel memberships at the end of the stream. Ladies and gentlemen, let's continue now with your calls, and we say hello to the great Kyle Clifton.
What's up, Jake?
Mr. Clifton, how are you?
Doing all right. I think the fan base needs to kind of recalibrate their expectations based on what you were just saying. Like 6 to 8 wins is probably what we are looking at, right? Um, I think that the Vegas over under is ridiculous. Based on some of the talent that's already in house, but we've got kind of like a unbalanced roster. We're really deep at running back. We're really deep at cornerback. I think that we have some good depth at linebacker, but wide receiver is not great. Like tight end room isn't great. Like there's definite weaknesses out there. Defensive tackle isn't great. I'll be interested to see if because of this deep DT class, whether a DT that might be a little expensive that can still play might shake loose at the end of camp cuts. We've got the cap room to kind of fit them in if they kind of fit the model where they're young enough and they can still play a little bit in a rotation. Maybe we could add somebody. That's something that I'm kind of looking forward to. But I mean, this year is about seeing if in the ideal system Fields can play enough to be of use to us, right? Whether it's as a starter or a backup. Like I'm still getting killed in the chat for saying Lamar Jackson light. And I think you made the point yesterday, Jalen Hurts light. However you want to couch it, right? I mean, Fields is significantly faster than Hurts. He's significantly bigger than Hurts. Like if he can just prove to be a competent passer, maybe we can have enough success on offense with this defense where we can be competitive and be in the mix for a playoff spot and play some meaningful games. And really that's our goal for this year, right? Have something to build off of. I think like you were saying that I think they're probably trying to keep their powder dry as far as draft pick goes in case they do need to go up if they do outperform expectations. They're picking, say, in the mid-teens. Maybe they think that they need to keep some draft picks where they'll need to go up and get a Lenora Sellers or Cade or like any of these other guys, Nussmeier. We'll see. I mean, we should be anxious to see if Fields can make the best of his last best chance because of the skill set that he has and the element that he brings that this team has never in my lifetime, 40 years plus now of watching the Jets had. We've never had a dynamic running quarterback like this except for Vic. And let's face it, Vic, he wasn't
that guy anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, he was in his day noir, as they say. He's on the way out. So that's kind of how I feel about it. I'm more concerned about the injuries to say Cowart and to Mason Taylor than I am to Fields. That's and let's get Fields out there in these preseason games and see what he's got. Let's get him ready to play in the regular season. Let's get him ready to succeed in the regular season. That's all I got.
Love it. Good call by Kyle Clifton. Open phone lines for anyone who wants in. Also, why don't we bring this back? An incentive for those out there to call in. If you call in, you earn a raffle ticket in our daily and weekly raffle. Jermaine Johnson jersey, signed by the man himself, is today's daily raffle prize. We need 15 more channel memberships. And once we hit 30, we will officially do the raffle on this show. If not, we'll carry it over to the second show this afternoon. All right, let's get to more of your calls here. Shorter show than normal because I'm on the radio today at 1 o'clock. But let's say hello right now to a man who needs no introduction, but I have like 17 of them to choose from, and I choose this one. Peace. Beast, your audio is terrible. What are you doing? What are you doing? Uh-oh. Better have pants on.
Dumbass. Don't be dumb.
Whoa. Beast, call back from your laptop. This is terrible. The connection here is horrendous.
Pew, pew, pew. Abracadoodle.
Good God, Beast. Come on, man. You know that your phone is shit. That it won't work if you ever try to use it. That was horrible. J-Boy in the raffle for 1. Thank you very much, J-Boy. Michael Stipik received the membership there from J-Boy. Ladies and gentlemen, earning a raffle ticket by calling in, and also retroactively, Kyle Clifton, I'm giving you an extra one for your great call. Let's say hello right now to Black Gypsy, who joins us now. What's up, Black Gypsy?
Yo, what's up, everybody? So I was thinking about the whole field thing, right? From the practice so far. Like, he has to run the ball. Like he has to play like he's in Madden, basically. Because if he can't complete passes as the OC, you're gonna have to make a way for him to be like deadly against defenses. And the only thing that, like, if I'm a defense and I'm coming to play the Jets and they have Fields, I'm setting up my defense to stop the run, like in any way possible that I can. 4-6 defense, nickel defense, whatever we're going to use. But if he can actually pass a little bit with that run, we're still a dangerous team. That's why I had that nonsense take of 100 yards per game, because it's a thought process that a defensive coordinator has to prepare for. If you know he's going to run the ball most of the game. But if he has to sit back there and throw, even if it's to Garrett or Priest or to Mason, like, they can just sit on those receivers if they have good enough defenders. He has to run the ball. If Castro is telling us that he's going to be this great quarterback, like, what's the proof that Fields is going to be good at passing the ball? Like, there is no proof of it. So for anyone to have those high hopes, I want him to explain it to me. Like, the next time he talks to Castro, tell him to explain why he thinks Fields is going to be that good. What reasons does he have? Because I like Fields. As a player, I love him. I just don't think he's a good QB, though.
I mean, I don't know, just faith that because other quarterbacks around the league have been in similar spots, have turned it around, maybe belief in the coaching. I mean, that's got to be the biggest thing, right? I mean, look at the success stories of Darnold or Baker or Geno. They all went to places with good head coaches or play callers and weapons, and there was a real plan.
They were all better passers in Field when they sucked, basically.
Correct.
So
Well, the thing with Fields passing, though, Black Gypsy, he has improved year over year. Like, he has. He's still not great, but he's not as bad as he once was. So the thought is he could be a little better there, and there's a plan to really allow him to utilize his strengths as a runner. Like, the O-line for the Jets is good. Like, Breece Hall's good. Braylon Allen's good. Isaiah Davis, I think, is very underrated. Like, they have the personnel to have an offense that could be successful.
I think rushing-wise, he might break the record for rushing, because if I'm playing him as a coach, that's what I'm using him for. I'm going to run him as much as possible. He's a one-year guy. If he gets hurt, he gets hurt. We have Tyrod. Because other than that, I don't see him sitting in the pocket passing, because he's going to get hurt. He's going to sit back there, hesitate. They're going to hit him, and then we have to go to Tyrod anyway. So just run the ball with him and get the best we can get out of it. It's going to come down to scheme, and I want to see how good our OC can scheme him up, because LaFleur sucked at scheming up Zach to do certain things. So maybe our new OC can do something to make Fields actually look better, because it doesn't look good in training camp. And in training camp, even last year at the Steelers, like, he wasn't great on passing. Like, the passes that he did do was because Steelers, you know what I mean? Like, way better team. So I don't know. I want Fields to do good, but I just don't believe. It's going to take a lot for me to believe, especially.
Why did you want his jersey then? I don't understand.
So I have all the bum quarterback jerseys from our team. I have all of them, bro. So I've since from Pennington to what's the guy that had that one good season that went to Buffalo after? Yeah. I didn't have those jerseys, because I have the Pennington jersey, but I didn't have everybody in between. And then after Fitzpatrick, I have all the jerseys. So
I thought you were calling Pennington a bum at first. I was like, how dare you?
No, Pennington is my favorite quarterback of all the Jet quarterbacks.
Love Chad.
That's all I got.
Like Gypsy, well done. Ladies and gentlemen, we head back to the attic right now and see if Beastbreaker is standing by. Beast? What are we looking at here? I don't know what we're looking at. Now, I am also excited, though, to share with Beast. This was just sent to me by a listener. I was unaware of this, but Beast won another award last night. Ladies and gentlemen, the Attic Dweller of the Year award. This was Beast on the stage, apparently accepting the distinguished honor. So we're happy for him. not sure if this is actually Beast. We'll have to ask him next time he calls in. C with a super chat. What do you think Garrett Wilson's receiving yards looks like this year? Well, if he's healthy, we know he's going over 1,000 because that's what he's done the first 3 years with way worse situations in 2 of them. I think Garrett could get over 1,200 yards this year. I mean, he's the guy in the offense. He's the guy. DJ Moore, when he played with Fields, he had the best year of his career. I'm kind of expecting something similar for Garrett. DJ Moore's stats in 2023, 96 receptions, 1,364 receiving yards, and 8 touchdowns. I think Garrett Wilson could do that. Bang Mateo says, Jake, you have to accept the reality about Fields early, bro. Come on. Accept what reality? I told you I don't think he's the long-term answer. I think they're drafting a quarterback next year. I have the Jets winning 6 games right now. So, Bang Mateo, what you need to do is stop being an asshole because that's all you provide to this channel. Accept the reality. If you want reasons for optimism, I could give you those. I'm also going to call it how I see it and be real. You need to accept the reality. I accept that he's probably not the long-term answer. I hope to God I'm wrong because that would be great for us as Jet fans. Accept the reality. Goodbye.
Rock Bowers, boy. San Francisco University. Tight end. Next year, I hope to be a wide receiver.
Enjoy Stupid Town, bum. More calls right now. Ladies and gentlemen, up next is... Why didn't it play? Damn it.
About Mike, he loves the Dark Knight. He's got a green pool and he jumps right in. Maybe someday he'll get a brown belt, but for now he's just that purple belt Mike. Purple belt Mike. It might be purple, but he can still kick your dirty ass.
StreamYard glitch. I love it.
It never ends.
Today was a good day. I just got back from therapy. I'm icing the knee. Now on one crutch.
Nice. So, you're making steady progress.
Steady progress. He wants me to be no crutches by Friday, which I don't know how that's going to be possible, but he's kicking my ass. He's kind of a dick, but he's good. He's pushing me. So that's good.
Well, it's good news, Mike. Hopefully you'll be able to make it next Saturday.
So I'm pretty psyched. So I missed the news today because I was at therapy with Fields, but as I said the other day, like, we got to chill. Let's just see what happens. He might be good. Remember, Baker Mayfield was a castaway at Carolina and looked terrible with the Rams too. So he got cast away twice, and then the right coaching.
He was actually good with the Rams. That's when he started to rehabilitate his career a little bit when he got with McVay.
Well, he had the one good game, and then he was terrible.
Yeah, I mean, he joined them. He joined them for like the last 3 games of the season.
Yeah, he had that one good game, and then he sucked. But you know, sometimes it just takes the right people around him and the right coaching to make somebody unlock. So we gotta relax. Even though I'm like the last person to relax, but after seeing everything, like, I gotta chill. Everyone's gotta chill. We'll see what happens. Did they announce that he's gonna play in a preseason game?
They have not announced anything yet. Fields was just asked if he wants to play in the preseason, and he said he wants to play. He wants all the starters to play.
Got it. Is there a scrimmage with the Giants before the game or no?
There is 2 joint practices, Tuesday and Wednesday next week.
Got it. Okay, so we'll see. We'll see really at that point how he does, especially evading the rush with like Abdul Carter and them guys around him. You know, if that's who they say they are and that's what the defense is and he can do it, then I think we'll be okay. So let's just chill out and we'll see what happens.
Let's see improvement. That's my big thing, Mike. Let's see improvement. And when he goes up against a real defense next week, that's not the Jet defense. What does he look like? Is it more of the same, or are there some things that he's able to do and the offense is getting better? Like, it's too early to go crazy. I use the Jaden Daniels example all the time because I witnessed it. He sucked against the Jets defense in a joint practice last year. And guess what? He had the greatest rookie quarterback season ever. So it's August. It's not September yet. We still got a month till the season. As excited as a lot of us are, there's still time.
And to that point, if he goes 5 for 20 again, it's still early. it's still early.
Yep.
And if he goes 20 for 21, it's still early. So anything could happen. You know, Rodgers was beating people up last year too. So let's just wait till the games play out, and then we can really cast judgment. And right now it's just speculation. So at that point, let's just try and be positive. We've had so much negativity and bad. Let's try the opposite.
Ladies and gentlemen, Purple Belt Mike.
You get the fuck out.
Mike, well done. Super Chen here from Phil M, who's in the raffle for 2. Weird question. Transparency would go a long way. FanDuel, with your picks you provided last year, did you net good profit? Winning with 1,000 paper cuts or big show bets? What favored you the most? I didn't have a sponsor last year with a sports book. Underdog was the sponsor, and we'd give out, fun jet underdog slips, but those are like giant parlays. Like the odds on hitting on those are way less than like a standard bet. They were just fun. So I can't really answer your question because I didn't give out specific bets. But this year we'll do a bunch of picks, and once again, you don't have to take my picks. You can fade me if you want or make your own. That's the whole point. But anytime we talk about gambling lines in the show or anything with props, the odds are going to be from FanDuel because they're now our new sponsor. Andrew C. writes in, "Sup, Jake, tell your dad I'm around. Watch every day." All right, Andrew C. Well, we need another call from you. The dream, Andrew C. One of the greats. Ladies and gentlemen, it appears like Beast Breaker is playing more video games. Beast, what's the latest? What am I looking at here? Your audio is probably going to be a disaster. Beast? Beast? Your fat fingers are covering the screen, Beast. We can't see. Jets are up 13-0 against the Saints. All right. Good stuff, Beast. Did not need to see the blubber there, though. Uh-oh. All right. I think that's Kurt. Are we playing NFL Blitz 98? I can't tell. Beast, you there? What are you playing, Beast? God. Why can't you just figure out how to call in from your phone? Is your mic on your phone just cracked? Good Lord. Kyle Clifton writes in, "Why does anyone have to accept Bang's reality after we signed the best available quarterback at a reasonable price and he hasn't played a regular season down yet? It's ridiculous. We know it can fail. Be allowed to be surprised." Exactly, Kyle. Well said. The reality is Justin Fields is probably not the long-term answer. But Vikings fans didn't think they were going to win 14 games with Sam Darnold last year. Or Commanders fans didn't think they were going to be in the NFC Championship game with a rookie quarterback a year after they were the second worst team in the NFL. Or Texans fans didn't think they were going to be able to turn their franchise around and win playoff games back-to-back years after they hired DeMeco Ryans and then drafted C.J. Stroud. You just don't know. You don't know. The Jets had zero expectations in 2006. They made the playoffs. They won 10 games in 2015 with Fitzpatrick. You never know. That's why they play the games. Anyone have Geno Smith leading Seattle to the playoffs a couple times? That's why we play the games. Let's see. We're at 16 gifted memberships. I'm going to gift 5 to get us to 21. Once we hit 30, we will confirm the Jermaine Johnson jersey raffle at the end of this stream. A chance to win a signed JJ jersey. But if you want to get a membership, here's what you should do. If you're one of the 325 people watching live right now, make sure you, 1, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you then, 2, click the like button. And 3, make sure you have in your settings the option to receive a gifted channel membership. Understand? Fantastic. All right, here we go. I'm going to give everyone 10 seconds because there's a delay to do the following to give yourself a chance to be a channel member. Ladies and gentlemen, the countdown starts right now. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Memberships being gifted now. If you hear your name called, you just received a gifted membership from me, and I'm putting your name in the raffle because I'm not entering myself. Kick staff, Anthony, Dad's Custom Shop, Kyle Brown, and Alex Zokalaki, all receiving a channel membership. Well done to everyone who just got one. Entering you guys right now. Beautiful. All right. That means we need, after the 5 that were just gifted, just 8 more memberships. That's because ISU, while I was in the middle of gifting, he gifted one as well. So ISU, thank you very much. You're in the raffle for 1. I got you down. Spencer Green with a super chat. He's in the AsmanJake raffle for 2 with this. A JJ jersey sure would look nice. Also, will anyone be in New Orleans for Jets Saints? If so, let me know. I'll be there. I think Alan said he was going to go to that game. Maybe Gary. Ugh. But I do know that if that game is actually meaningful, there is a chance that I would go. Because New Orleans is a fun place. I was just there for the Super Bowl this past year, as you guys know. And one of my good friends is a sports reporter at the local ABC affiliate down there. So I got a free place to stay, too. So it'll be a no-brainer to go if that game actually matters. But it's so late in the year, who knows? Islip Jetfan says, can I send a super chat? You can. If it's $10 or more, you qualify. Mike D's Nuts is now in the AsmanJake raffle. He is in for 5. If you got a membership from Mike D's Nuts, you could thank him. The following 5 are channel members: NC Jet, Brian Sexton, Gavin Tarabakja, Rich W., Randall Harville, all receiving there a channel membership from the immortal Mike D's Nuts. Give it up for our guy, Mike D's Nuts. D's Nuts. More of your calls. International we go. Jason's in Jerusalem. What's up, Jason?
Not in Jerusalem, buddy. I'm on the island.
Wow, you're on Long Island? Okay.
I'm on the island, about to head out to a matinee at City today.
Nice. Enjoy the game. 110 first pitch. Let's go.
Yeah, hope to avoid a sweep. It is ridiculous, man. Pathetic.
Both of your baseball teams have been terrible.
Yeah, except the Mets have a little bit more fundamentals, shall we say.
Yeah, I mean, believe me, as bad as the Mets have played, I feel like it's been overshadowed by just how long the Yankee collapse has been going on.
Yeah, I actually tuned into before I flew out. I tuned into New York radio, and I expected to hear like ripping the Yankees and the Mets. Instead, I heard somebody talking about toenail clippings, and I couldn't understand why this person was on like a midday drive show with all the sports to talk about, trying to figure out who left toenail clippings and who was accusing whom. I mean, you have any insight about that? And if that was such a professional thing to be doing?
Yeah, I mean, there were a bunch of toenails in our new studio, so it was the talk of the station for about a week there. And people tried to blame me. I'm like, I haven't been in weeks. I can't be responsible for this.
I tried calling in. My call didn't go through. I guess, but you know, you got to find a niche and what stands you out from all the crowd there. But if toenails clippings what's doing it, then Godspeed to you, Jake.
I appreciate that, Jason. I enjoy the game today, man. That's awesome.
Thanks, buddy.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jason on Long Island. He's not in Jerusalem. Love that. Big Country in the house. He says, I got my Wayne Corbett jersey yesterday. I'll call in at 4 o'clock. Thanks, bud. Big Country, congrats on winning that signed Corbett jersey, and I'm glad it arrived safely. Uno Jets joins the raffle. Let's go, Jets. 10-7. From your lips to God's ears, Uno. 10-7. What I would do for that. 3 memberships away from having enough for the raffle. 3. We're at 27. 3 more and we're there. Open phone lines for anyone who wants in. Until then, I'm just going to sit here and watch Beast play video games. Here we go. Beast, are you even there? There we go. Here's the kickoff. This is what retired men do, by the way. It really is amazing as we look here at Beast TV. The man truly lives in the 90s. Unbelievable. Spencer Green writes with a super chat. Also, let's be clear, Jake loves Devin Williams. Oh, yeah, love. Can't get enough of him. Rick Kent in the house. He just got us over the threshold. We're now going to do the Jermaine jersey raffle at the end here in 4-5.
We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
These are from Rick Kent, Ricardo Grosvenor, Ronnie Diaz, Jamar Mason, Will Taylor, and Jaquan Turner. The following memberships were just gifted by Green Gang, who won a signed sauce jersey the other day and came all the way from Baltimore to our meetup this past Saturday. He is in the raffle for 5 by gifting 5 channel memberships.
Money, 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 money.
The following 5 are from Green Gang: Jet Buff John, Drew, Shiffers Harv, Joanne DeMaria, and Carlo G. They are all in the raffle. JT says, do you think Boone gets canned? This love affair for Williams is fireable. It is fireable. It is. I mean, if not now, then when? If they miss the playoffs, I think they're going to be forced to actually change the manager, but they should clean house if that happens. I mean, they lose today, they're actually out of a playoff spot. They were 7.5 games up on anyone in the division at the end of May. Now we're talking about them barely holding on to a wild card spot. So yes, Boone should definitely be gone. It's not all him, but sometimes you have to just make a change for the sake of making a change. Clearly, the messaging is being lost because guys are still making the same mistakes. Guys are still showing zero signs of accountability because no one holds them accountable. There's like a culture of acceptance. You have to do something. The fact that Boone went to Devin Williams and his rationale for sticking with Williams over going to Bednar, who was warmed up, was that he thought that Williams' stuff would get a strikeout there. What are you watching? He had nothing. We all saw it. And then, well, he said he couldn't go to Mark Leiter because, you know, he's just coming off the injured list. He didn't want to put him in that spot. So why did you put Nestor Cortez in against the Dodgers in Game 1 of the World Series over Tim Hill? It's the same logic. It's enough. It's enough. DYSL in the raffle for 2. I need that number 11 JJ jersey, Jake. Let's go, Jets. Can't wait for the season to begin. I can't wait for JJ to just start practicing. I'm hoping that's sometime next week. Like, it's got to be soon, right? Like, we're getting close to that point, I think. Mike Perez says, convinced Beast light bill is the lowest in the country. That's a great take. What does Beast Breaker pay for the electric bill every month in the attic? We don't know. Open phone lines for anyone who wants in on the conversation. Shorter show than usual because I'm doing radio today at 1, and that Boone question from JT just gave me a little preview of what my opening monologue is going to be. By the way, the interest in the Gangrene Legends cruise has been off the charts. For those of you who are interested in setting sail with me and a bunch of Gangrene Legends, make sure you lock in your spot. We set sail next year, May 30th through June 4th, 2026, Cape Liberty, New Jersey, to Bermuda and back, thejetscruise.com. I mean, it's going to be awesome. I don't know how else to describe it other than epic, awesome, incredible. Very excited about this. We still got a lot of time, but people plan their vacations in advance. People, I'm sure, want to save up if they're going to go on something like this. So join me, Fireman Ed, Richie from Jets Media, Ryan from Jets Talk, Matt O'Leary from Matt O'Leary NY, Green Bean from Green Bean Jets fan, and oh yeah, how about the following Jet legends that are signed on to be joining us? Kevin Mawai, Chris Ivory, Marty Lyons, Bilal Powell, Leon Washington, Jericho Cotry, Sean Ellis, and you see that coming soon? We're not done just yet. So stay tuned. The full itinerary of events and different things we have planned for everyone coming on the trip, it's all on the website, thejetscruise.com. I'm telling you, folks, you're not going to want to miss this. You are not going to want to miss this. Let's see. No one's on hold, so we go back to Beast playing video games. Hello, Beast. What do we got here? See, I took him off mute for a second, and that's what it sounds like. Unbelievable. Beast, you leave me with no choice. Can you call in from your damn computer? We want to ask you about the award that you won yesterday. Beast is the recipient of the Attic Dweller of the Year award, according to one listener who was at the ceremony. Sean says, any current Jets players joining the cruise? Can't say. I'll leave it at that. Can't say. What I can tell you is we're not done. And I'll leave it at that. John LG says, shout out to Chef Kev. What a host coming around to all the tables. He brought our table lobster roll samples. Nice seeing his wonderful family again. And the cake was delicious. The cake was so good, John. The food, everything food-wise I had that day was amazing. But the cake was like really, really good. Like I feel like it's flying under the radar. ISU says, are you taking Beast on the cruise for a belly flop contest? I was thinking more of a wet t-shirt contest, but if that's what you want, ISU, then absolutely. Black Gypsy says, Beast get a job. J-O-B, job. He's retired, Black Gypsy. This is what retired people do. They play video games. Come on, man. This is what the retired do. They play video games. This is what I'm doing in a few weeks. I'm headed to Vegas. I'm going to be broadcasting our show from Circa Resort and Casino as part of their Ultimate Contest Weekend because I'm going to be out there for their contest sign-up weekend, baby. That's what this is all about. People getting a chance to sign up for the Circa Million or the Circa Survivor. $21 million in guaranteed prizes combined for both of these unbelievable pro football betting contests. We're going to have great guests that are going to be joining us, but if you're into either one of these, this is the weekend to head out there. You could play from anywhere, but you have to sign up in Vegas. You could get a proxy that could actually sign up for you. Go to circasports.com if you want in on the contest. I mean, do I need to say more? It's Circa. And anytime you go to Vegas, that's the place to be. Largest indoor and outdoor sports book. See the pool here? It's where I'll be chilling. I'm going to try and even do the show from a cabana one of the days I'm out there like I used to on radio, but this will be YouTube, so this will be even cooler. Here's a look at the sports book. For those who remember, we did our draft stream 2 years ago from their book. So it's going to be a great weekend. I'm pumped. Can't wait. Peter Castro says he's going on the cruise. Let's go, Peter. I don't think anyone has officially booked yet, by the way. So once my business partner, Andy, tells me who's the first person to book, I'm going to send someone a special item. But all the info is on thejetscruise.com, 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 thejetscruise.com. Brian says, anyone else stoked to see Quentin Williams this season? I'm excited to see what he's all about. I'm excited to see what he's about to do in 2025. Me too. PBM says, I'm going on the cruise, just seeing if I'm going with PBW or not. Oh, we got to get PBM's energy on there. You'll be fully recovered by then too, Mike. You'll be moving and grooving on that thing. Black Gypsy says Circa's awesome. Hell yeah, it is. I wish the Jets played the Raiders every year in Vegas, man. I mean, every year we would do our meetup in Vegas. It'd be the best. JT says the cruise looks like a hell of a time. Yeah, it's cool, man. Some of the events we have planned are great. There'll be opportunities to obviously get stuff autographed by any of the players there. We're going to do a charity dinner one of the nights where we'll raise money for each player's charities, which will be really cool. We have a tailgate party that Fireman Ed's going to host on the actual cruise ship. Like it's going to be awesome, man. I'm moderating some panel sessions with some of the players. So it's going to be cool. Devin joins the Asmaniac raffle for one. I was just about to say last chance to get in here because we're ending the show soon. And Devin is now in. Mackle says, build a football on a cruise ship. Thoughts? I'm pretty sure the cruise ship has it has like some turf area on it so we could play a little touch football. I don't think we want to play tackle. Have you seen what Sean Ellis still looks like? And Marty Lyons is still built, mean, and tough as well, even though he's the nicest guy ever. All these guys are so huge. By the way, who got Devin's gifted membership? Paul Meldosian received it. All right. Today's closer is one of the greats, Nick Shine. What do you got for us, Nicholas?
What's up, buddy?
How are you,
Cooking
Nick?
some chicken. I can give you, I think I can give you a live look here at the grill. Cooking some chicken.
Really?
A little food prep. Yeah, man.
Are you going full
How's
beast
everything?
as you cook chicken?
No, I'm actually just cooking this and not for my 7 make-believe friends that were supposed to show up to, what was it, Memorial Day?
I don't know. I can't comment on this.
I think Memorial Day weekend. He was grilling, right? And he was outside and saying everyone was coming over.
Yeah, he had a big barbecue. You don't think the people were real?
We never saw anyone. So
don't know.
let me ask you something. Do we get to a point, or our people are already there, but do we get to a rational point where Tyrod Taylor might become an option if Fields can't progress in the passing game at all, Jake?
I don't think so. They've made such an investment in Justin Fields. They already gave him the job. They built the offense around him. Like you were, actually you weren't there Saturday. Like they don't call the same offense for Tyrod as they do Fields. There's no RPOs with Tyrod. There's no design runs. His presence being out there, even if he's not throwing well, does open things up in the running game. I think that's why we saw Saquon have his best year ever playing with Hurts. We saw, Derrick Henry have his best year or one of his best years ever playing with Lamar. Like, I think they envision Fields having that type of influence on Brees, Braylon, and Isaiah.
Yeah, I agree. I just wanted to bring up the discussion point and get your take on it.
What good does going to Tyrod do, though, right? Like, unless Fields is so god-awful in the regular season where it's like you're going to lose the locker room if you don't make a change, like Zach Wilson level bad, like what happened there, which I don't see. Like, what's the point of going to Tyrod? Like, we know what he is. He's not the long-term answer. Fields maybe can be.
Well, the interceptions yesterday is what's making me start to think that, right? Like, if you're turning the ball over, if you're completing it at 70% and you get a couple tipped passes and you're throwing the ball downfield well and maybe some things get tipped and taken away that way, they'll ride with you. But none of his completions were more than 5 yards downfield. That's a concern. I can't put it all on him because a lot of our wide receivers are not capable of getting separation. And when they do, Lazard drops one over the middle of the field yesterday. So, I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's as much as I love everything Muji and Glenn have done, I am just baffled by the lack of talent they put together in a wide receiver room.
It's not good. And I'll tell you what, the interceptions don't really concern me because one of them was like a Jeremy Ruckert drop, essentially, that led to it.
Yeah. Well, that's a problem, right? We constantly drop.
Well, Mason Taylor's hurt, right? So then Ruckert's going to play, and then look what happens. BGF had a good point. Like, it does speak volumes how impactful a rookie in Taylor already is, that it was noticeable he's out. But, I mean, they're going to get Fields all the time to learn the offense and be the guy. And I think the only way they would ever make that change is if, one, he's hurt, which is obvious, or two, it's Zach Wilson bad where you lose the locker room. Because Tyrod himself is hurt now too, right? He's not going to practice for a couple of weeks here. They're going to be careful with whatever this knee thing is. He's 36 years old. He's one hit away from being out for months. We've seen this so many times in his recent career.
Yeah, it's worse than I thought it would be to start. And I'm not over the top with reactions, and I don't do all that stuff, but I expect a little more, and I get it. With the foot injury, I said maybe we're going to call more plays with him throwing from the pocket to try to progress him from there. And if we see a progression, it'll pay off. But as of right now, man, I can't put it all on him. Like I said, it's the receivers. The talent is not very great there. And you have to give our secondary credit, right, Jake? Our secondary is very strong. So you're not going to get a lot of separation, even with a good group. Even when Garrett's open, Sauce is still right there with him. So maybe this makes Fields better long-term, and he can get used to playing against a good defense. And that makes us better for game day. But, I mean, there's obviously a lot of concerns that people have had are coming to fruition early on.
I mean, they downgraded that quarterback, and that's the reality. We have to hope that the scheme is able to overcome that, and they could effectively run the ball with Brees and the O-line. that they put in place. I mean, but it's early. The Jet defense, one, is really good. Defense is typically ahead of offense this time of year. And we're talking about Fields learning like his fourth system in 5 years. So we got to show a little more patience than calling for Tyrod at the second week of training camp. You know, like people got to relax.
Yeah, I agree. I just wanted to, call in. I know you said the lines were open. I'm sitting here listening. I was like, let me call in and just talk a little Jets with you for a few minutes.
How's the chicken coming along? It looks great.
It's fantastic. It's fantastic, man. Told you.
Oh, yeah.
That's the finished plate right there. That'll be meals for today, tomorrow.
That's how you became so skinny, Nick. Look at you. You're a changed man.
I'm trying, man.
You think B should go on your diet?
25 more to go. I don't know, whatever he can do, I don't know.
All right.
Let Gary take the diet advice on the channel. I'll stick to football.
Ladies and gentlemen, he is Nick Shine. He's a healthy man.
Buddy.
And ladies and gentlemen, he's all about the chicken.
I just had chicken. Chicken.
Thank you very much, Nick Shine. PBM, he said, I'm going to give 5 memberships. And he is literally in at the buzzer for 5.
We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
Hell yeah. Purple Belt Mike, I got you in for 5. Good luck. We know Mike has won a ton of these raffle prizes over the last couple of weeks. And he just gave himself 5 chances to win a signed Jermaine Johnson jersey, which I am moments away from giving away here on the show. Reminder, join the Patreon for access behind the scenes, discounts on every item in the merch store, your name in the intro, and a way to support the channel, patreon.com/Jake Asman Show. Big shout out to everyone who is on Patreon, and most recently, Thomas, Gary Moran, and NY Jets Man Cave for signing up and being a part of it. All right. It is that time for a raffle. And the raffle will commence right after this. Our first watch party of the year, the Jets and the Giants. We're headed back to T Squared Social, August 16th. It is a 7 p.m. kickoff. 6:30, the party will start. Tickets are just $18. It includes 1 Friday beer, 1 green tea shot, and a raffle ticket. We'll do a Jets merch and Jets ticket raffle at halftime of the game. When you get a ticket, you get 5 tickets in our weekly raffle whenever you do it. So lock in your spot. The more people that buy tickets, the more revenue we have to make the raffle at halftime as epic as possible. August 16th. Let's go, baby. Jets, Giants. Jets backups versus Jackson Dart. What's better than that? Nothing is better than that. But you see the Wheel of Champions? I just had to update it and add 5 more names at the literal buzzer. Gonzo Badger, you are in the Asmaniac raffle at the buzzer by gifting 5. Good luck to Gonzo. Let's reshuffle the names here. If you win, email me, AsmanJake@gmail.com, your name and your address, where to send the jersey to. And if you don't win, everyone who entered is in our weekly raffle for your chance to win the signed Aaron Glenn, signed Sauce, and another signed Jermaine Johnson jersey. So more chances to win prizes throughout the week on the show. And second show today, signed Sauce Gardner jersey I'm going to be giving away when Robbie Sabo is on. So we're going balls to the wall, baby. We're kicking off August, and we're doing the best we can here to keep giving you guys as many opportunities to win signed Jets gear and jerseys and all that. Here we go. Hit the music. Time to spin the Wheel of Champions. Good luck to everybody. And thanks again to everyone who supports the show, because we would not be able to do this many raffles without that. The winner of the JJ jersey is Big Country. How about that? Big Country won a signed Wayne Corbett jersey. And then he won a Sauce Gardner jersey. And now he's winning a signed Jermaine Johnson jersey. Are you kidding me? This was how Big Country entered the raffle. He sent in a super chat, got 2 tickets. I got my Wayne Corbett jersey yesterday. I'll call in at 4 o'clock. Big Country, you're going to be calling in as the latest Asmaniac raffle winner. Congratulations. He's a diehard Jet fan, and he certainly deserves the top prize during this first show. Hit the Jet chant. Love it. Thank you to everyone who participated. Great show. I'm on the radio today, 10:50 a.m. because the Mets are on. If you want to hear me, on from 1 to 3, ESPN New York app. I'm in for Michael K today. Mike Tannenbaum is supposed to be joining me. I'll confirm that on my Twitter account. And then I will be joined by Field Yates today. That is confirmed at 2:30. So some football talk. I will eviscerate the New York Yankees, and on we go. Talk to you guys at 4:30 today. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel. Big Country sent it a super chat at the buzzer. Ha, sweet. Well done, Big Country. Well done. All right, that does it for me. I end the show with a clip that I feel like has not been played in a while, and it's something that I think anyone maybe new to the show should sit back, take a look, and enjoy. Ladies and gentlemen, Poopgate. Hello, V-Man.
It's just this. I've said this 1,000 times. I'll say this again. This is just the media being the media.
V-Man, it is tough to listen to football takes from you when it appears like you're sitting on the toilet taking a crap. I hope you're not.
No, I'm not.
All right, that's good to know. Thank you for the clarification.
Yeah, no, I know. I was just getting myself ready for the day.
Where are you right now?
Yeah, yes, you're right. I'm in my bathroom. I was just finished brushing my teeth.
So you are in the bathroom?
Yeah.
So there is a possibility that you were just crapping.
No, I'm not.
I don't know, V-Man. This is it's not exactly a very convincing case we have going on right now.
Look. Let's just get back to this because
I don't know if we can. I don't think we can.
Look, all right. Just get back to talking football. It's not about giving you news. Like I said, the key is just avoiding the bull crap.
If anyone knows about bull crap, I would say it would be you, V-Man.
All right. Okay, yeah.
I think we have a real controversy, V-Man. They're already calling this Poopgate in the comments.
No.
He stinks.
I swear to may God strike me down right now with lightning. I was not using the toilet.
All right. Look, V-Man, you never steered me wrong before. I think you do have to acknowledge, though, the evidence was not great for you.
Yeah, no, I should have waited till I was finished.
That would make sense.
Was what I said wrong?
I don't know what you said. I was just focused on the idea that you called in live from taking a crap.
Well, basically that the media doesn't give a crap about giving you the media doesn't care.
Taking a crap. Oh yeah.
Okay, the media doesn't care about giving you the honest stories anymore. All it does is about chasing trendy hot takes to get you to click on their videos or their art or their internet articles so that they can generate ad revenue and make money.
V-Man, is it true that you have a bidet?
No. Can we get off the bathroom stuff? No, I want to. Do you agree my take is accurate?
I think it's a crappy take.
Am I accurate with what I said?
You know what? I've had a crap day. Let me think about it.
That's the end of that V-Man call. Now he can go back to sleeping.
That right there is what makes this show a show. Anyone can give jet takes. Not every YouTube channel has a V-Man live from the John. You can't make it up, folks. V-Man, you might need to change the name. Gonzo says, V-Man, how about a courtesy flush? Ryan says, we just need to wipe this Rogers story clean. Snowball, V-Man is not full of bleep anymore. Jay says, V-Man is full of crap. Well, not anymore, Jay.
I got a suggestion for V-Man if he's waiting online. When I go to the bathroom, I turn the camera off and the microphone off. So that's a suggestion for.
You hear that, V-Man?
Turn off your camera and your mic. So
V-Man?
I'll say it again. I was not on the toilet.
You stand by it.
I was getting myself ready. The lid was down. I was just sitting on the lid.
So, but you were sitting on the toilet.
But not using it.
This is actually, I don't think, helping your case, V-Man, because earlier you didn't say that you were sitting on the toilet at all. Now you're saying you were sitting on the toilet, and I find it hard to believe you weren't using the toilet.
I'm a terrible liar, so if I was lying, you would know it.
What are your thoughts on people saying your calls are all gas, no brakes?
That's fine. That's real rich. You're like, tremendo un cocotazo. Give me un cocotazo.
What?
Someone in the chat will translate what un cocotazo means.
Is
But,
Todd Bowles your favorite coach?
Come on, no.
Come on. Do you think you're doing a good job trying to wipe this controversy away?
We just stop with the toilet buns. You want to know what?
V-Man, would you say this is a stain on your legacy?
We just knock this off for like.
To be fair to the chat, you got to let us get it out of our system for at least a day.
But I'll put this on the record so people know my position.
About Poopgate?
No. People have asked me. People people see my Puerto Rican T-shirts.
I don't think anyone's asking you about your position today. I think they're asking you about Poopgate.
I was not using the bathroom. Also, on my position in Puerto Rico.
V-Man, thank you for the time today. You want to talk about controversies with the Jets? Rodgers missing 2 practices in June. That's not a real story. V-Man and Poopgate, maybe the biggest story involving the Jets besides Reddick's contract right now. Let's be real.
That's what I do when I have to go to the bathroom.
What a call there. Here's the question I have for you, V-Man. A lot of people have been speculating on this Poopgate situation. Do you have any further comments on it?
No, I do not have any further comments on it. All right, can we? All right, I cannot focus with those sound effects. I cannot concentrate on the bass line with the sound effects.
That's you making that noise.
Please, I don't. What are you, my mother?
Your Bob makes fart sound effects?
I'm not going to play. It's probably best that I don't just fucking.
Well, this call got V-Man, thank you very much for the time.
All right.
Is V-Man originally from Flushing, Queens?
Hey, here's the deal. Just got no chance unless you click on that like button. And you got to make sure you subscribe to the Jake Asman Show. You don't? You can get the f*** out. Now let's go, Asmaniacs. We're built for this shit.